teach you communication skill. Communication skill is a broad subject. It is a subject which is being taught in UGC NET, whether you will prepare for UGC NET or you are in CBSE class 9th or 10th. You have to go through this topic in your class 9th and 10th term. So, what is communication skill? Communication skills are very important to convey information. All of us know that to convey information from one person to another person, we used to send some information from one person to another person through some medium. So there are some basic steps we need to understand. What are the things can come inside communication skill? So what would be the learning objective? To make children aware about communication process and communication media. So what is this communication media? Obviously, communication skill is to maintain communication between a sender and a receiver. So between a sender and a receiver there will be some communication media. If I am a sender and I want to send information to a receiver, then I should have some medium of communication through which I can send the information. So what is communication is all about? Communication skills means how we communicate with each other. The way of presenting our information is very important. Communication skills include those areas which deals with our talking, writing, expressing our values. How we communicate with each other means you know that if you will go, for example, if you will go to Kerala, then you must know English language or their local languages. Then there will be that will be easier to survive there. So communication skill means how we communicate with each other. Through which medium? Are we able to communicate verbally, or we are not able to communicate verbally? We can communicate non-verbal. Or is there any medium of communication? Like, is there any visual effects, any pictures through which we can communicate? You can see. These are the method of communication. What are the method of communication? You can see. Let me take a marker, then I'll show you. Verbal communication and non-verbal communication. What is verbal communication now? It includes sound, words, languages, and speech, means what we speak, or is there any sound is coming. Verbal communication means, like these days we used to send audio messages in WhatsApp to our friend, so that could be a verbal communication because we are sending a sound or words or languages or speech. We when we talk to each other. Speaking is one of the most effective and commonly used ways of communicating. It helps in expressing our emotions in words. Means how we can express our emotion to other person. Obviously we are using the communication. We are expressing through some languages. And if we are not able to communicate verbally, then there is another way, that is non-verbal communication. What is non-verbal communication? It is the expression. For example, many people are introvert. They are not able to speak. They have knowledge, but they will not able to speak or express their things properly. So in that case, they used to write something, or they used to write a message or an email, and they used to send. So non-verbal communication is the expression or exchange of information or message without using spoken or written words. So what are the things will come inside verbal communication? In verbal communication, how verbal communication will be effective? What are the things which will prevent a verbal communication? First, we need to avoid distraction. If we are, for example, in a class, I am teaching to my students, and if in between many students create a noise, many students ask different question, like one will ask to go out from the class, one will ask to, may I drink water? Then this will be the kind of distraction. If a teacher is in any topic, he or she is expressing that topic or explaining that topic with diagrams or with examples, and students are interrupting in between asking silly questions, then those will be the distraction. Listen carefully means, if you are conveying any message verbally, then the audience or the your students must listen carefully. Many a times we used to convey the information, but students are talking among themselves, so in that, communication hampers. We will study about barriers of communication also. Maintain eye contact. To maintain eye contact is a sign of confidence. If a person is confident, then he or she will see at the eyes of the interviewer, and if he or she is not confident enough, then he will see downside or look here and there. Do not interrupt the speaker. If anybody is speaking about any topic and he or she is indulged in that topic, they are explaining the topic briefly with giving examples, with giving lots of things, then we should not interrupt them. Be clear while speaking. The language through which you are expressing your views must be clear. You should have enough words with you so that you can express your feelings or whatever is your agenda clearly. Focus on the non-verbal communication cues. Non-verbal means our body gestures. Means sometimes we don't. Sometimes, like for example, we are eating something, and if anybody will ask any question to us, then we just nod our head. That will be a non-verbal communication. Be a soft-spoken person. We should speak softly. If we will speak harsh, if we will shout all the time. Like a teacher a teacher who will shout all the time. Obviously, students will get frightened, and sometimes due to that fear only, they are not able to catch the things a teacher is conveying. Be confident whenever you are speaking anything. So whenever we are conveying anything, then that is the matter of public speaking. You have to be confident enough that your body gesture is capable to express the view that you are conveying any positive information. Be open minded and represent the information in short. We should not give vague information, like we are discussing one topic, then we'll jump to another, then we'll jump to another. We should be represent the information in short, because obviously we are discussing with the children and they can get bored. There is another type of communication, that is visual communication. What is visual communication? It is the way of communication in which messages are conveyed in imaginary form. Example: sign, pictography, or films. Means visual communication means, like these days, YouTube videos. Visual communication, there are videos, there are audio visuals, then there are graphics, pictures through which they are conveying the information. Verbal, so this is the representation of verbal communication when we speak to each other. Non-verbal communication, when we are holding each other hands or when we are greeting each other. Now there is a term called communication cycle. What is this communication cycle is all about? It expresses how the system of conveying and understanding messages operate. Means what are the things can come. So in communication cycle, we have a sender, we have a receiver, and we have some medium of communication through which we communicate. Then we have a feedback. Means a sender is sending some information. A sender is sending some information to the receiver, and if the server is understanding that, then the server will give positive feedback. And if the receiver, we can say server also if we are dealing with client server architecture in computer, but we are here talking about communication skill between humans. So if a sender is sending anything and that is a positive message, then it will give up, he or she will give a positive feedback. On the other hand, if the receiver is not understanding or not understanding, then obviously he or she will give negative feedback. Or if a sender wants to convey anything and the receiver is not agreeing upon that topic or not agreeing about that thing, that it is not correct, then it is also a negative feedback. So communication cycle involve these 5 things. What are these? Sender, encoding, channel, decoding, receiver, and feedback. We need 5 things, then only our communication cycle will be completed. Who is a sender? A sender is a one who selects the desired medium and sends the information. Who sends the information is a sender. And what is encoding? In verbal, the message is converted from one system to another system in the form of codes. For example, when we send a message to someone through smartphones, then it is encoded in the form of 0 and 1. You know that computer understand 2 languages, that is 0 and 1. 2 digits, that is 0 and 1, binary number. So in smartphones are also small computers where we are exchanging the information, we are converting the information and are transmitted in the form of satellites. Now third one is channel, through which channel you are transferring your information. Channel is a medium through which information is transferred. Now decoding. Decoding is the encoded information that is converted into understandable form. Means a sender is sended some information, it is encoded into some verbal information, and then there is a channel through which we are sending some information, and then there is a receiver who is getting that information in a convertible form. Decoding is the encoded message that is converted into understandable form, and there is a receiver who receives the information, and receiver is the observer to whom the message is directed. Now after receiving the information, the receiver will give a feedback. It is the response of the receiver. So just now I have explained that feedback is of 2 types, positive and negative. If the receiver is agree upon your idea, then the response will be positive, and if he or she is disagree or he don't understand your thing, then he will give a negative feedback. There is some importance of feedback. Why we need feedback? Why feedback is necessary? Feedback ensures that the recipient understood the message by sending the recipient interpretation back to the sender. Feedback means that the recipient understood the message by sending the recipient interpretation. If the receiver understand the message, then also he will send a message that yes, I understood, I agree upon your idea. And if he or she will not understand, then that time also he will give a negative feedback that sorry, I am not agree upon your idea. It shows the receiver is interactive. It sustains the communication process. See, to maintain a proper communication, we need a sender, we need a receiver. If there is a person who is conveying information, conveying, and there is a receiver who is not responding, then there is also a barrier of communication. Now there are positive feedback which motivates the individual, the effectiveness of communication. Now these are the things, and there are more things also in communication cycle which I will make you understand in coming videos. So till then, watch my video, subscribe my channel, and please go through my videos and like and subscribe, and please write your or tell me or send me your doubts in my email address or anywhere, so that I can provide you more and more information about the topics you want to know. For till then, thank you very much.